Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 14 is entitled as Gunatraya Vibhaha Yoga. Sloka 5, Part 3. Sattvaṁ rajastamayiti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadhnāti mahabāho dehe dehinam avyayam. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. From the previous sessions, we have learned that the gunas are inherent in Prakriti. They are not inherent in living entities. Since they are in Prakriti, which means they cannot be separated from Prakriti, the Sankhya school of philosophy says that these gunas are also dravya. They are categorized as substance. But that is not the Vedic understanding, and that is not what Krishna is declaring either. These gunas are not substance, they are qualities. Just because the qualities of an object cannot be separated doesn't mean that the qualities becomes object. For example, as we saw in the first session, the flower and its fragrance. The fragrance cannot be separated from the flower, and the flower inherent the fragrance. That doesn't mean that we can equalize the fragrance with flower. Flower is identified by its name as flower, by its fragrance as this feature, as quality. This is called Dharma and Dharmi. Here, the Dharma is the feature or characteristic or quality of a Dharmi. So, Prakriti is Dharmi and its Dharma are the three gunas. Another example is fire is Dharmi and heat is its dharma. Water is dharmi, where the coolness present in the water is its dharma. Therefore, dharmi and dharma are two different things, cannot be one and the same. Therefore, Sankhya idea of categorizing gunas as dravya, substance, cannot be accepted. It's incorrect. And this we can clearly understand directly from Krishna's words in this sloka, when Krishna says, Sattvaṁ rajastamayiti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha, that the three gunas are always present in Prakriti, which means Prakriti is dharmi, which is a substance, dravya, whereas the three gunas are dharma, that is the qualities of the dharmi, which is Prakriti. Now that we understand that the three gunas are not something which get produced by Prakriti or by any of Prakriti's sub-product, it is the quality of Prakriti which is present within Prakriti all the time, even during the unmanifested state and obviously during the manifested state. Then the question is, what about the pains and pleasures of the Atma? Is it natural for the Atma to experience these pains and pleasure, or is it unnatural? With what we have learned so far, especially from the 13th chapter, the answer is obvious. We must know the answer by now. That is, these experiences that Atma goes through, the pains and pleasure, are not natural for the Jivatmas. In its natural condition, the Jivatmas are in bliss, serving the Supreme Lord in His abode. Just for argument's sake, if we agree or understand that the sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress, are natural disposition for the Jivatma, let's make sure we understand what it means. Earlier we saw that the gunas are natural qualities of Prakriti, either in its manifested or unmanifested state. So the question is, what about Jivatma's pains and pleasure? Are they also inseparable and always present at any condition, whether it is liberated or not liberated, which is condition? If we agree that yes, the pains and pleasures are Jivatma's natural qualities or disposition, then there is really no point of reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing any upadesha, advices, or there is no point in practicing anything. And obviously there is no point in applying or learning and applying the 20 qualities that we learned in the 13th chapter. We just close our further studies right at this juncture, as there is no point in learning anything any further. The instructions that's given by Krishna, the instruction given in the Vedas, Dharma Shastra, it's all of no use, because whatever we study, how many ever times we hear these instructions, it is not going to be practically useful for us, because by nature we have this pain and pleasure. So the correct understanding is no, we do not inherit the pains and pleasure in our natural disposition. That is answered in this sloka, where Krishna says clearly that nibadhnanti mahabāho dehe dehinamavyayam. By nature, Jivatma does not go through any of these changes of pains and pleasures, etc. Avyayam. It is only due to Jivatma's conjunction with Prakriti that the living entity goes through and experiences these pains and pleasure. Now that we learnt about Prakriti and learnt about Jivatma, how they differ in their quality, is there anything which is common between the living entity, which is called as Chit, and the Prakriti, which is known as Achit, spirit and matter? Both are substance, dravya. Chit is a substance, a dravya. Achit is a substance, a dravya. Therefore, the commonality between these two that can be identified is dravyam. Hence, they both are classified into dravyatvam, substanceness. So in one sense, both Prakriti, which is Achit, and Jivatma, which is Chit, are classified under Dravyatvam, Dravyas, substances. But the gunas, the three modes, are not common between Chit and Achit. The three gunas are Vishesha Dharma, or special quality only present in the Prakriti, not present in the living entity. But these gunas has high influence over the living entities. Let's understand this. Because of karma, one gets the body. Once one gets the body, he is influenced by the three modes, because the body possesses the three modes. Because of the influence of the three modes, one gets pains and pleasure. Then one's action towards these experiences, that's the pain and pleasure, they engage in certain activities, actions. Those actions produces papa or punya, sinful reaction or meritable reactions, which are called as karma. Because of these karmas, one gets the body. Once one gets the body, he is influenced by the three modes. Because of the influence of the three modes, one gets sukha and dukkha. Then, based on that, one performs certain activities to experience these sukha and dukkha. Then this produces a reaction based on the action, which could be sinful reaction or pious reaction, which are called as karma. Because of these karmas, one gets another body. Once one gets another body, he is influenced by the three modes. Because of this influence of the three modes, one experiences happiness and misery. For one to experience that, one performs certain action which produces papa karma or punya karma, and that karma gives us another body. If you have been attentive, focused in hearing what has been said so far, it's just a repetition multiple times, and this repetition goes on in circle, and that is what called as samsara. How many ever times we repeat this cycle of birth, suffering, death, birth, suffering, death, birth, suffering, still we don't get it. Or, though we understand this, still we are not able to realize it. That is the power of three modes. That is the power of this Prakriti, which keeps us bound in this world. O Mahabhaho, O mighty-armed Arjuna, you can defeat all your enemies with your arms. We all know your strength, your power, your valor. But to shiver, to cut off the gunas is not possible by the might of these arms. Therefore, Krishna addresses Arjuna as Mahabhaho. You can defeat your enemies, you can cut off them, but you cannot defeat, you cannot cut off the three gunas. Another understanding why Krishna calls Arjuna as Mahabhaho is how you, Arjuna, bring everyone under your control with your strength. Likewise, the three modes brings including you under its control by its strength. But Atma, in its original liberated state, is totally free from any trace of these gunas. It is only when the living entities are entangled, get influenced by the three modes, which are not Jivatma's natural quality. Therefore, the answer to the question that a gunas, the three modes, are always present with Prakriti. The three modes are the qualities of Prakriti. Likewise, the sukham and dukkham, are they also qualities and present naturally in Atma? The answer we learned is no, they are not. The body that we have is a byproduct of the Prakriti. Therefore, the body inherits the three modes in it. All three of them, sattva, rajas and tamas, affect a jivatma which is residing within that body and tie him further to a body. That is, they cause the jivatma to take bodies again and again. It is only due to this the jivatma experiences pain and pleasure. If the jivatmas are not affected by the three modes, then they are not going to take bodies. If they are not going to take bodies, then they are not going to experience the pains and pleasure. Therefore, pains and pleasures are not natural qualities of the Atma. The next question is, how do we know that these three gunas exist? None of us have directly seen these gunas. That will be the discussion for our next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.